What do you need before you can start coaching your first client or sell your first coaching package? Do you need a website? Do you need a super specific niche? Do you need a huge social media following or a separate business account? You've never coached before, so it's really incredibly difficult to answer some of these questions. So I'm here to help you a little bit. When you're starting out, there's an endless amount of questions that you need to answer. What tools and apps do you need? How do you design a coaching package? How do I even get anyone interested in what you're offering? And there are also these voices stuck in your head trying to hold you back. And one of them is, how do I even know I make the right decision? So when I am ready, and how do I know enough to coach a client? This is what we're going to think about and talk about today. And before we start, I want you to think about yourself as a little seed. I know this sounds a little bit crazy, but bear with me. Right now, you're developing your first root and your first leaf. You're perfect the way you are. Everyone who has ever been gardening and you see the first leaf pop up, you're so proud. But there's also still a huge potential for you to develop. So what we are focusing on right now is to develop the first root, the first leaf, to get you started. And that means your first step is to attract clients to you. The stage after that is to develop a great coaching experience. So people will talk about you, will give you great testimonials, and they will get great results. And once we are through that stage, we start to fine-tune the process. We are getting more clients consistently. Maybe we're aiming for 5K income per month, and so on and so on. So let's jump in. Let's start with the website. You don't need a website when you're starting out. In fact, I believe creating a website is not even possible because right now you don't have client experience. So you don't really know what to write on your website. You don't understand the problems really well. You don't understand what they're really seeking from coaching and how you can position yourself as somebody who bridges the gap. So right now, website, waste of time. Later on, very important when you have client experience, when you know why people buy. Right now, not necessary. Then, do you need experience with coaching clients? Of course not, and you don't need any online experience. The key is that you can learn with your client together. So you're getting paid by coaching them. Through the process, you understand what is really important. You understand what assessments are important, what tools are important. Where are you getting stuck? Where do you have to learn something? Where do you need some extra help, maybe through an article or a coach? So you don't need coaching experience and you don't have to have everything figured out. In fact, you develop these insights through the coaching experience. Another huge point that I often see is the question of, do you need this huge social following? And no, you don't. In fact, the closer you are to your followers, the better, because again, coaching is a client-coach relationship. You're not this far away influencer that nobody can reach. You want to be in their DMs. You want to be present in their lives so they think about you all the time. And that means you probably don't need a business account in the beginning either, because your first couple of clients will probably know you already. They might be family, friends, people you know from school, whatever it is. Right now you have a social following on your private account. You can use that, and over time, maybe a business account is useful when you want to separate what you do privately and in your business. But right now, not necessary. The other part is that you often hear is you need a client profile or a specific niche or an ideal client, whatever it is. I want to be clear. These strategies work and they work very successfully. However, right now, you have no base you can use to make a decision like this. How do you know who your ideal client is when you have never had a client? So you would limit yourself to a tiny group of people that you don't really know you can work really well, and you might shrink the social following that you have to an even smaller degree. So while you need a rough direction where you want to go, you don't need to be super specific. And later on, when you have more experience, when you want to promote your coaching business on social media, for example, defining a defining a niche is very helpful, but it's not the first thing you need to worry about. And just as a side note, how to find your perfectly profitable niche is something that I coach in my new free course, Sell Your First Coaching Package, and I will talk about this at the end of this video a little bit more. Also, how much knowledge do you actually need? What I recommend is a solid education, and many of you are already doing the PN nutrition certification. So you have plenty of knowledge that you need. What you need to develop right now is confidence in your knowledge and the skill. So don't waste time on getting another certification and another certification and another certification until you actually understand what you need as a coach to help your clients better. Now, let's flip this around. What do you need? And here's something that many coaches don't think about in the beginning. You need courage. You're doing something new. Again, think about your little plant image. You're growing your first root, your first seed. You will reach your limits all the time when you're doing something new. You will very often live at the edge of what you're currently doing. So you have to consistently push and push and push. You have to persist, even when it's uncomfortable, leaning into this emotion of being uncomfortable and growing your coaching business. And to do that, I want you to imagine, what would you do, what would you think, or what would you feel when you were 10 times bolder? If you were 10 times bolder, would you procrastinate and think, oh, I maybe need another this, maybe I need another that? Or would you jump in and trust yourself that you can actually figure this out while you're doing it? In the process, you're problem solving. And then the next thing that you need is to make time consistently. It can be 1 hour a day, 1 hour a week, maybe 1 hour every other day, whatever it is. Consistently making time to develop your process, to develop relationships with new people, reaching out to people to respond to your messages, respond to your Instagram posts, whatever, getting into conversations. And if this feels a little frightening, this idea of how do I talk with other people, check out yesterday's live where I talked about this. Then you need a coaching package, and I covered how to design a coaching package on Tuesday's Facebook Live. And then you need a couple of simple and free apps and services. So PayPal or Stripe are great ways to collect payments. You need some kind of coaching agreement that clarifies what you expect from the client and what the client can expect from you. And then you need something to organize your client notes, their sign-up date, how much they weigh, their weight progression, any insights, and so on and so on. And both a coaching agreement and a tracker are both part of my new free course, Sell Your First Coaching Package, but I will talk about this at the end of the video. And then you need something to communicate with the client. So some form of written communication, for example, email and Messenger, and video calls, for example, Zoom or Google Hangouts, are both free. And then, even though it's a little bit expensive maybe, is you need some form of scheduling software. Think about it. If the first process of just making a time to call with you is already tedious and a constant back and forth, when do you have time? I have this and da. it doesn't look professional, it doesn't look easy and welcoming. So a scheduling tool is super important in the beginning. To wrap this up, you don't need a lot to get started. Right now, you're this small seed growing the first root, growing the first leaf. You need a little bit of soil, a little bit of water, and a lot of persistence to keep pushing. Everything that you need right now is free, and you need to make the time to start so nothing can hold you back. If you want a little bit more guidance, especially on how to set up your offer, how to set up your price, how to create an amazing coaching experience for new clients, I want to invite you to check out my new free course, Sell Your First Coaching Package. It teaches you the business skills and it builds your confidence that you stop procrastinating. Because the biggest investment that you need right now is trust in yourself. You need the time, you need the persistence, so this little seed that you are right now can grow and expand and become something strong. And that means you need to become a coach that attracts clients. And this coach is not afraid of taking action. This coach doesn't procrastinate and thinks about all the things that they might need. This coach trusts himself or herself that they can figure this out while they're doing it. So this is your opportunity to step out your fears, to step out of your doubts and become a successful nutrition coach that attracts clients. If that's interesting for you, the link is in the description. And if you have any questions around the topic that I'm covering today or the new course, leave a comment. I will respond to every comment. Have a great day.